morning, good evening, good night, EagleMMA family. This is predicting UFC 301 based off looks maxing. Right, so if you don't know, I make all my predictions based purely off gut feeling and who I think is going to win. And if you look better, if you look more like an alpha, chances are you are more of an alpha and you'll win. But let's get right into this, starting with the first fight on the card, Alessandro Costa versus Kevin Borges. Listen. Looks maxing. Kevin Borges, suboptimal chin. He has a bit of a weak chin. Alessandro Costa, nice head of hair, a dominant alpha chin. Just lost a decision to Steve Arasek, which not the best. So I'll pick Alessandro Costa. By decision, I think Kevin Borges is still pretty decent. I think he could make it a bit of a, not a snoozer, but a bit of a slower technical fight, where we're a bit of a point fighting fight. But next up on the card, Ishmael Bonfim versus Vince Pichel. First of all, have to say this, absolutely abysmal matchmaking. Vince Pichel is 41 years old, and he's fighting Ishmael Bonfim, who, like, he's absolutely getting fed to Ishmael Bonfim. But if you do look at their facial structures, Ishmael Bonfim has a positive canthal tilt. He has a very defined chin. He's got a good widow's peak hairline. Vince Pichel, like I said, he's 41 years old. With age comes less testosterone and less looks. I am going to have to go Ishmael Bonfim by first round knockout. I think he's going to knock out Vince Pichel. Bit of a weird, maybe early TKO, but Ishmael Bonfim, just a younger, more spry guy. Obviously, he lost to Benoit Saint-Denis by submission, but Benoit Saint-Denis a dog. So let's get right on to the next fight. Dion Barbosa versus Ernesta Karakaiti. Don't even know how to say her name, but you look at both of them. One of them is a, I'm not gonna say freak show, but I would have to have a couple drinks to maybe interact with that. And one of them is an absolute cutie pie. Dion Barbosa is an absolute cutie pie. Gonna have to pick her by decision. They both fought cans. I don't care. It's women's MMA. I'm gonna pick the one that's hotter. So we're gonna move on to the next one. Mauricio Ruffi versus Jamie Mullarkey. Jamie Mullarkey, big negative canthal tilt. Absolutely is going to get destroyed by Mauricio Ruffi, right? Mauricio Ruffi, a bit of a can crusher. Big can crusher, oh my lord. But Jamie Mullarkey literally has a negative canthal tilt that is suboptimal. I'm going to go Mauricio Ruffi I'll go by first round KO. I think he's going to get like a big overhand off on Jamie Mullarkey. Jamie Mullarkey also very 50-50, right? Maybe it has to do with that negative canthal tilt and suboptimal facial structure. Mauricio Ruffi, positive canthal tilt, very defined eyebrows. Gonna have to go with him by first round KO. But let's move on to the next one, right? Joaquim Silva versus Jakar Close. Jakar Close, very low testosterone chin, right? A very birth control chin from Jakar Close. So I am gonna have to pick Joaquim Silva, right? Very defined facial structure and everything. Jakar Close. Ooh, he's had some bad losses. But he's 10 times ahead of Jakar Close in the looks maxing department. So I'll pick Joaquim Silva. I'll pick him by second round submission. I think the first one's going to be pretty slow. And then the second round, he's going to land like a big straight and drop Jakar Close. Probably latch up a front choke of some sort. But let's move on to the next fight. Jean Silva versus William Gomi. Here's the thing. This is a tough one, right? William Gomi, prey eyes, big bug prey eyes, but Jean Silva, terrible hairline. Now here's the thing, do you go hairline or bug eyes? You have to go bug eyes because prey eyes matter more than your testosterone. Prey eyes means you have a slow reaction time. You're not built for hunting. You're not built for those high stress situations. So I'm gonna have to pick Jean Silva, right? I'll pick him by decision. I think it's gonna be a pretty back and forth fight, but let's get on to the next one, right? The best fight on the card, and I do have to say this, UFC 301 is one of the most underrated cards in history. This next fight proves it. This is on the prelims. Elvis Brenner versus Miktikbek Oralbay. This is a crazy matchup. This is a legendary matchup. I'm so excited to watch this. Elvis Brenner versus Miktekbek Oralby. Miktekbek Oralby is Neanderthal maxing, but Elvis Brenner has a pretty defined chin, a good positive Canthal tilt. So I am going to have to pick Elvis Brenner, right? You know, being Neanderthal maxed, it's good, but you seem a little bit stupid to me, honestly. You seem a little bit stupid, a little bit slow, but he absolutely has a chance. I think this is going to be an absolute war, no matter what. This will be a war, but I think Elvis Brenner is going to edge it out by a third round TKO. I think they're just going to be swinging in the pocket in the third round. Both absolutely gassed, both hurt bad, and he just lands one lucky shot and drops Miktekbek Oralby bad. So I will have to pick Brenner by third round KO, but let's move on to the next fight on the card. Karolina Kowalkiewicz versus Yasmin Lucindo. I'll go through this one quickly. Yasmin Lucindo is lesbian, so I literally don't even have to, you know. Karolina Kowalkiewicz also prey eyes, bit of a prey eye situation there. Pretty neutral Canthal tilt, but Karolina Kowalkiewicz has a neutral Canthal tilt, but Yasmin Lucindo has a positive Canthal tilt. A bit more of a defined chin as well, so I am gonna have to pick Lucindo. By decision, I guess. It's women's MMA, so I don't really care. But move on to the next one, which is also in the prelims, a super underrated fight. Joanderson Brito versus Jack Shore. Now, listen, Jack Shore is British. In terms of looks maxing, you're British. Immediate down 2 points. So I'm going to have to go Joanderson Brito. I think by first round KO, right? Anyone who knows, Jack Shore used to be a bantamweight. He moved up to featherweight. He has like no power, no strength. Sure, he subbed Makwan Amirkhani in like the third round, but you should be finishing Makwan Amirkhani. So I'm going to have to pick Joanderson Brito by first round KO. He's absolutely steroid max. He's absolutely 40 years old, but he's, 29. So I'm going to have to pick Joanderson Brito. And looking older is a better thing, as long as if you look like you're in your 30s to 40s, that's the prime looks maxing, especially if you're steroid max. So I'm gonna have to pick Joanderson Brito. But on to the next fight, the main card opener. Great fight, great matchmaking. Paul Craig versus Caio Borralho. I am going to have to pick Caio Borralho, right? Tattoos go crazy. He's vision max. He's got a good defined chin. He just looks like an alpha Chad. Paul Craig he's just stupid. Hey, Paul Craig has actually got this. Actually, I changed my pick. Paul Craig is gonna win this. If Caio Borralho just wraps Paul Craig's legs around himself in a triangle position and chokes himself out with Paul Craig's legs. That's the only way Paul Craig can win this fight. I am going to pick Caio Borralho by decision. I think he's going to take Paul Craig down and honestly ground and pound him in like a side control, half guard or whatever. Maybe keep it on the feet for the last round or two. So I'm going to have to pick Caio Borralho by decision. But let's move on to the next one. Michel Pereira versus Ihor Peteria. I was talking about Neanderthal maxing. Ihor Peteria is retard maxing. Michel Pereira, just a alpha Chad, right? Positive Canthal tilt, defined jaw, right? He's literally crazy in the cage. He smacks people with open palms. He does backflips. In terms of looking cool, he looks the fucking coolest. I will have to pick Michel Pereira by first round KO. Ihor Peteria looks like a goblin. He looks like a NPC enemy in some, dungeon game or something, with that crazy, scraggly ass beard. Michel Pereira with a tucked in, nice, defined beard. So I will have to pick Michel Pereira by first round KO. I think he's going to smack him up. Peteria has nothing for Pereira. This is weird matchmaking. But let's move on to the next one. Speaking of dogs, animals, Pigheart Smith versus Vitor Petrino. Anthony Smith, listen. This is the only fight where I'm not going to go based off looks maxing, because in terms of looks maxing, on paper, Anthony Smith is the most attractive looks max fighter on the UFC roster, but he recently has not been eating. I haven't seen him eat any puffed pastries. I haven't seen him sip down any iced lattes. He's not been insulin maxing. So I am going to have to pick Vitor Petrino by decision. I think he's going to hurt Anthony Smith in the first round badly. It's going to be pretty boring in the second round. He might edge out that round. And then the third round, Anthony Smith starts to take over a little bit, but still a relatively boring fight. I will pick Petrino by decision. And with the next fight, the co-main event, I love this matchmaking. The return of the featherweight GOAT Jose Aldo versus Jonathan Martinez, a great little up-and-comer. In terms of looks maxing, Jonathan Martinez has it, dude. Look at his hairline. Look at Jonathan Martinez's hairline. Defined chin. He's Mexican as Elvis. And I'm not gonna get into any racial things, but Jonathan Martinez is Mexican. Jose Aldo's Brazilian. They're not the same. They're not even close to the same. Gonna have to pick Jonathan Martinez. I'm gonna pick Jonathan Martinez by decision as well. I think he's gonna be just effing up Jose Aldo's legs. And Jonathan Martinez is a pretty patient fighter. He doesn't want to just sit back and do nothing, but he tends to be a little bit more patient, a little bit of a quote-unquote point fighter. I wouldn't necessarily call him a point fighter. He just effed up Adrian Yanez, who's a good little contender there. He beat Said Nurmagomedov, TKO'd Cub Swanson with leg kicks. He's got some decent wins. Jose Aldo is coming off a year, 8-month layoff from his last mixed martial arts fight. He boxed Jeremy Stephens. I think he's just old, out of his prime. This is his retirement fight. So he's not taking it as seriously. He's literally just taking this fight to get out of his UFC contract so he can go do other things. So I think he's not really in the right mindset to beat Jonathan Martinez. So I will pick Jonathan Martinez by decision. And with the main event, Alexandra the Cannibal Pantoja versus Steve Carell from The Office. Do I even need to explain this fight? Who the fuck do you think is gonna win? The Cannibal or your local paper company's boss? Steve Erceg has no chance, right? Big, bulge, bug eyes, positive canthal tilt. He's Australian as well, so his IQ isn't even there. He's not even like ugly and smart. He's ugly and stupid, right? Alexandre Pantoja, based, Chaparrito maxing Brazilian, Chad, right? Fully goateed the F up. Got a nice little mustachio. Cannibal canthal tilt. A cannibal canthal tilt. His name is literally the Cannibal. Do I even need to explain this, right? Defined chin, everything. Right? He's going to submit Steve Erceg in the first round. I'm picking Pantoja by first round submission. I think he's just going to go right at Steve Erceg. Listen, if Pantoja fights this fight like a point fight, he will probably lose to Steve Erceg. But if he fights like the Cannibal and Steve Erceg fights like Steve Carell, he's going to run through him. I believe he's going to get him up against the fence with a takedown attempt. Just break the distance, create contact, get to the back position and get a standing rear naked choke. I believe that's exactly what's going to happen. I will have to pick Alexandre Pantoja by first round submission. Steve Erceg, listen. The Office is a kind of funny show for the first couple of seasons, but is Steve Carell really going to beat up the Cannibal? Come on, listen to that. Listen to yourself if you say, oh, Steve Erceg is going to beat Pantoja. Listen to yourself. But that is going to have to wrap it up for this predictions video. Let me know what you guys thought of this. Let me know if you guys want me to do more of these style of predictions videos where it's a little, there's a funny topic to it, right? I hate putting out just boring, regular-ass predictions. Everyone does them. Every single person does regular-ass, boring predictions every single week. I like to spice it up a little bit. So let me know what you guys think of this. Like, comment, subscribe. Join my memberships. I have a $2 tier and a $5 tier. $2 tier, you get a bunch of videos, bunch of live streams, bunch of emoticons as well. You get Eagle MMA updates. $5 tier, you get double streams, double the videos, more emoticons. You get even more Eagle MMA updates. You get access to members polls where you guys vote for the video I will put out once a month. It is absolutely worth it. I'm actually scamming myself by putting it at such a low price, but turn on notifications as well. It might not seem like a lot, but notifications is a huge algo boost. So thank you all for watching. Eagle MMA out.
Hey. Young Lean? Are you Young Lean?
What?
Are you Young Lean?
No, I'm Barry Dillon.
Okay.